Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Bitcoin Weather Report with your hosts, Matt McGregor, and very special guest, Socrates. How are you, mate?
I'm doing great. How about yourself? Good to see you again.
Yeah, it's good to see you too, mate. This show was supposed to be a live stream, just so you know, a little peek behind the kimono, but we spent an hour trying to set it up and couldn't do it. So we're going to pre-record it and I'm going to release it immediately after. I apologize for that, but shogunai, hey? But it is what it is. All right, this is going to be a really special show. The Financial Summit is absolutely wrapped to have the great Socrates back with us doing a show. I don't know how often we'll do these shows. Maybe it's a bi-weekly, maybe it's once a month, maybe it's once a week. We'll see how it goes. But Socrates is a fantastic analyst, and we're just so proud to have him on the show. So I can't wait to go into it. The way the show is going to run is just I'll do a quick introduction as we have today, and then I'll do a quick overview of the charts, and then we'll hand it off to Sock, and he can just run with it. I'll quickly go into mine right now, if you don't mind, and we'll see how that goes. Share screen. Alrighty. So in last night's Financial Summit show with the daily high with Tone Vase, and for the last week, really, since this wave turned green on the 4-hour time frame here, I've been saying absolute buy the dip zone is inside a pullback back inside the green wave. And last night, ideally off a green diamond. Okay, so we had the first green diamond here, which was just before the show last night, which I thought was a good buy the dip opportunity. But when we had in the show come up and exactly tested on the 7 simple moving average, I said I don't want to see this fade and get below our entry here on the green diamond. Otherwise, I'm absolutely looking for a buy back inside the green wave, possibly off another green diamond. And that happened. Bang, we dropped down into it, had a fantastic response off it, and it's looking really good. I really like how the MRI looks on the 4-hour time frame as well. Completely satisfied with that. We have had a pullback today. That's to be expected after a great pump up. We'll see how this goes. On a few other time frames, we have hit some pretty crucial support here that we do need to get through, but I've got no reason to doubt that we can do that. I'll just glance at the 12-hour for a second. This is what I was talking about, the resistance that we've seen. It has come up and got stuck below the 7 simple moving average here. I can see it now. It's come back and retested the 200. It is sort of trapped in this range as it stands, but this is only short-term stuff, guys. I really believe that all of this is by the dip zone for higher prices to come later in the month, later in the year. I love that the waves turn green now. We're in full bullish mode. I'll just glance quickly at the Bangbox trade that was made today. So Bangbox is the free trading bot that we have. All links in the description below. Absolutely fantastic service. The trade that we got into this morning pulled out 2.3%. We entered the trade here. It was looking really, really good here. Came back down, the initial stop loss in place, trailing stop in place. We got stopped out here. Now the bot has reset and we're eligible to trade again. Fantastic. 2.3% on the day. What more can you ask for? Maybe more. But it's not a losing trade. Absolutely fantastic. The whole point of the bot is just to set it and forget it and let it roll over and accumulate over and over in time. It's a Bitcoin generator. I put $6,000 in this bot and I'm just let it tick away, tick away, tick away, and the thing just keeps getting higher and higher. Absolutely fantastic. I'm actually going to be throwing more into it. Before I go any further, please like and subscribe. Please share it with your friends. Please take advantage of this fantastic 15% cashback we have on deposits on Blowfin. This is only eligible for the first 200 people, and it closes on the 12th of August. We are going to be releasing Bangbox on Blowfin very shortly, so absolutely take advantage of that. Otherwise, please if you want to do coin margin trading, which I highly recommend as well, use the links to join the Discord group and join on BitGet. It's an absolutely fantastic exchange. Sock, we are back with you now, mate. I am done my part, and I'm bloody excited to see what you have to say, my friend.
Excellent. We'll be happy to dive right in. Let's see here. Go ahead and start with sharing my screen. I think it should be this one. Let's see. Is that showing? up properly? I can't really tell on my end.
Yeah, mate, looks perfect to me.
All right. So going to dive right into the charts that I look at every day. The name, the Bitcoin Weather Report, comes from what I've been doing on Twitter or X, and have been posting daily reports, articles about my analysis that uses the various indicators that I've developed with Johan over the years. And I'm really excited to share with you all a couple things today. Let's see, where should I start? First off is I'm going to be doing a free trial to MSR for the first time ever. That's an indicator that a lot of you may be familiar with. It's something I developed maybe in 2019, and it uses a combination of moving averages and parabolic SARs to develop a trading system. So that's something that has been available for a subscription price, an annual price. And now we'll be doing a monthly trial for anybody that is interested. It'll be free. Just need an email address and a TradingView username. If you use the affiliate code that should be included below, or at checkout, just use the code Financial Summit, and that will get you a free 3-month trial. The other thing I'm excited to share is since I was on last, I've had something set up that I'm really excited about, where you guys can all get access to the charts that I'm looking at on my computer screen every day in real time. And that is all free of charge on the website. So if you go to alphaanalysis.io or click on that affiliate link below, and then look for the tab labeled charts. And this is going to include free MSR signals for Bitcoin. So if you're somebody who's just caring about Bitcoin, only really tracking Bitcoin, you can get MSR for free all of the time in real time just by coming here, hovering down, clicking on MSR 4 hour. That'll bring up a pop-up that is a TradingView chart. And here's the indicator. I'm able to kind of zoom in, and as you'll see, I will notate these charts if I see something that is very important. Try to kind of keep notes on for people that are following along. So here's the first chart that we will start with, and that is my favorite, MSR on the 4 hour, looking at Bitcoin. And it's a good time to be doing this because we have just in this last 24 hours tested the most critical area of what looks like it's turned out to be support. But for me, it's like the most critical area of confirming a trend, like what makes me bullish or bearish. It is the marker, this horizontal, that will print out as soon as a new trend occurs. Right here, we got a bear trend, a sell signal. And when that happens, this horizontal will print out, and that's what will kind of confirm that it's a good signal. If we are staying below that horizontal, then that is confirmation. If the 50 crosses this marker, that's confirmation that it's a good signal and not like kind of a bad one, but anything can always happen. So that's basically the area that I've needed to reclaim to feel like basically to have a bullish disposition based on some higher time frame stuff. As long as we were down below here, everything was fully bearish, moving into some higher time frame support. When we hit that higher time frame support, I was waiting for this level to get reclaimed to think that it wasn't just a dead cat bounce. So I've been bullish since we got back above here. This level's at 63,000. And I have been tweeting out recently that this is my critical area of support. If we are going to maintain what I'm considering a bullish position based on all of the timeframes, this is my line in the sand for the bulls. Not just because of this chart, but it is really nice how this marker is lining up very nicely with the other time frames. So this is something I'll be keeping a close eye on. It'll have to get above 70 to signal a full bull trend based on 4 hour MSR, but for me, as long as we are holding above this marker, we're in a bullish posture based on the various time frames. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of those higher time frames here. If you look at, you've got three options here: MSR 1 hour, MSR 4 hour, and the EXA and CMA charts. So that's what I'm going to look at here. Those are daily and weekly charts. So let's go ahead and take a look. I usually like to start by with the highest time frame perspective and then zoom in. But I wanted to share how you can find that free trial and everything first. So anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at the weekly, the daily, and then the 4 hour should make a lot more sense. So yeah, I am still viewing this as a potential hyperwave. By the textbook, hyperwaves, you don't really have a hyperwave until phase 3. When you have a phase 2, it's just a trend line, and it's not necessarily a hyperwave. But for me, when you get some action like this for Bitcoin after a halving, I go ahead and preemptively start labeling it as a hyperwave, because we know Bitcoin's propensity to go parabolic, specifically following halvings. So I personally don't need to wait for a phase 3 when it comes to Bitcoin to consider it a hyperwave. So that's why I'm already viewing this as a phase 2 hyperwave, is specifically due to the proximity to the halving. We did get one close below, which was scary. If you go back to that close on my timeline, I had a weather report talking about exactly why I was giving this some more time. I was waiting for either more extension below or 3 consecutive closes below the trend line to consider it valid, for a couple of reasons. Primarily the RSI. When it smashes through into overbought zones and then falls back to 50, that's generally a really good sort of buy the dip setup. It tells me that it's the bulls are in control, and that predefined levels of support are likely to hold. If this had done, say, like, it could have easily done something like that by the time that we retested the phase line, and then that would have been a much different story. I wouldn't have needed 3 closes or anything like that. So basically, that's something I've taken a lot from Fiboswani, who uses this RSI really well, and also talks a lot about waiting for 3 consecutive closes for a threshold violation. So I've used that a lot. And yeah, so I think that even though Hyperwave said that 1 close below would be enough, I was looking kind of more under the hood at some threshold theory stuff and decided that this thing's still intact. Now we really are in a position where we need to hold this higher low right now. This is currently coming off of a buy setup that was shared these last few days. When we have this blue moving average crossing below the 2 low moving average, the yellow below is the 2 low moving average, the yellow on top is the 2 high moving average, the blue line is the 9 least square mean moving average. Crosses provide buy zones and signals, and those get confirmed by the EXA. So that's why I always use these 2 together, the EXA and the CMA. That's why that's the name on the drop down. So anyways, once we got this crossover here, right here, it said that anything below the 2 low and above the 9 LSM, the blue, that's your buy zone right there. We tested it today, and now that it's been tested, I don't think it can be retested again and hold. We need to basically be closing definitely above last week's lows to let this recross back above the 2 low, and then that would be the last sort of candle to enter on. This is the 9 LSM's chosen for various reasons, but one of them is because this is a system that targets 9 candle moves, and the first 2, 3, 4 candles are really the like the fourth candle would be the latest to enter. It would really need to start moving here. And the EXA being cross bullish down here below 0, that's the confirmation. So really good setup, seeing this bullish EXA RSI firmly above 50, and the reaction that we've gotten from here, again right in line with that 4-hour. So this was 62,750, call it, critical, right, kind of in line with last week's low. So I don't want to see that get tested again. If it does, it's trouble for me. Go ahead and pull up the daily, which so now you can kind of see how these charts get illustrated by me in real time. Back here, we're looking at the divergence in the RSI and that lower low. And then here we were looking at the RSI breaking through 50 and kind of being a leading indicator that it may not be a dead cat bounce. Now here we're doing kind of just what I was saying on the weekly. This is like an eyeball kind of, this is the area we've been eyeing since price kind of turned around. Don't really know what level price would be at for the RSI to retest 50, but it's just something to keep an eye on as we are correcting, keeping an eye on this, hopefully holding as support. Of course, it can kind of chop around and do some just a little sneaking below 50 doesn't really mean anything at all. This is still an area that should be support based on the what we're seeing under the hood. Again, here, been eyeing this reset of the EXA. This is the EXA is also based on 9 candle trends. This is more of a swing trading setup, whereas MSR is much more position trading. 4-hour MSR will get like 5 or 6 signals a year. This focus on trading intra-week moves, and these indicators are both available for free on TradingView. It's Coates Moving Average, CMA, and EXA. That's EMA exhaustion. It uses moving averages to determine exhaustion of trend. So here,
Hey, just to jump in for a second, I think the viewers of that anyone who's watching the Financial Summit and watches my work every night, I talk about the EXA almost daily, mate. I think it's brilliant.
oh, awesome.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely fantastic. Anyway, sorry to cut you off.
I'm glad to hear it. Thanks for jumping in. Always makes me happy to hear other people are finding it useful. So yeah, this is something that, like I said, if again, we're kind of looking at these relatively equal lows around 63.3 that we wicked below. So that'll be a run on stops right there. That if it's a run on stops and the market is bullish, it really shouldn't come back to that low. The most it should do is come back to the median of this wick. So that is today's close at 63,600 is really where I would want to see today's low form if we are going to really be in this bullish posture. If this low gives, it's basically, I'm going to start thinking that lower lows here are going to be more likely than higher highs here if we take this level here. So yeah, we'll just be continuing to kind of keep our eye on some of these things, and hopefully those of you that want to follow along at first, my illustrations may not much make any sense, but if you kind of go through, there's descriptions for all of them on here. The longer you follow along, the more things will start to click, I think, or at least my doodles will at least make some sort of sense. Taking a look, I think this should be the I guess maybe a couple more charts. This is the 1 hour. It's been bullish since down here, and this was a really great signal. We see how at 60,000 we didn't spend any time under this new marker. We basically supported between the 50 EMA and the sky for almost a week, which is really a move to not even test the 200 EMA on the 1 hour for a week. And then once we got a correction, it fell down to the kind of shoreline here, got some great support there. Here we were much more thinking it was going to hold right away because we still had a bullish crossover in the moving averages. When the 50 is above the 200 and price falls towards the ocean, it's a lot more potent because at a minimum, we would expect to pull back up and into a death cross. And then we would hope for a move sharp enough to kind of avoid that. This last time we fell into the ocean, the death cross had already been come in, and we'd already kind of tested it as we threw into it there. So here we're kind of looking at the buoy 63.8. This move below it was scary, and now it managed to avoid that sell signal by kind of supporting here. And again, this is in kind of confluence with some of the higher time frames. We can't really be going back down in here. If we do take out this low, it's very much in danger of it's going to probably almost certainly reverse that trend, which would be.
Hey, just looking at that your 1 hour MSR here, MSR. I think that's the perfect description of where the market sits right now. I think that looks unbelievably clear as crystal. That if we break through that underworld, that what do you call it? The underworld down there? Yeah,
Yep.
maybe.
Your trend's gonna die.
I think that is it. I think it's coming down to these few hours here. Like this buoy better save us here, man. Like I don't like that at all.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I have been these last couple of days, like really like my, I don't know what you call it, anxiety level. Like I've been on the edge of my seat. Like it seemed like every hour over the last 48 has been absolutely critical.
Yep.
And again, like you said, I think like for me right now, what a time to be doing this. This is basically the critical crossroad for this action right here. This buoy just needs to hold, and it's always it is like anxious when price is approaching a critical level for you. It is it causes anxiety and it causes you to feel on edge, and that's why it's so critical to have a plan. You have to know exactly what you're waiting for, what you're going to do. It doesn't really matter what you think. Like I think this level is going to hold. I really do. As we're pulling back into it, I think that this level is going to hold, but that doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter what I think. What matters is what the market does. And what matters is having a plan that you're confident in the heat of the moment, so that when price is kind of really getting too close for comfort to some of your levels, maybe it be a stop loss or whatever the case may be, that you aren't, that you're not letting those emotions cause you to make decisions that you weren't planning on. That's what makes trading actively so hard. That's like kind of the hurdle, I think, that's so hard for people to get over, is that you just start out by you only react emotionally when you click buttons, instead of having a completely ironed out objective model, like from what I've seen from Matthew so good at doing, knowing exactly where stop losses are, what levels are important, what's a level that's important versus what's a signal that's an entry or an exit. So yeah, this will be a great time to watch. What I like to do personally, like if I was to be trading this right now, I don't trade at these hours of the day. After the daily close at 6 o'clock for me, no more trading. I have to wait until the next morning, because overnight, around 1 o'clock my time, stop losses like to get rated consistently. So if I was trading this, I would be looking at this as a critical level. And then what I would do is look for a lower time frame price model to confirm that it's holding. And that's kind of getting into the weeds a bit, but this is a trading show. And for those of you that like to trade, this is something that I've found to be um, a really important lesson, something that's just works for me very well. What I used to do is I just set blind limit orders. I just, no matter what time of day, if I was going to sleep, I just set a limit order here that would include a stop loss. And I just go to sleep and I just hope to get fill and hope to not be stopped out in the morning. And that's something that can work when the market's like super bullish and bullish enough. It's something that I don't think will lead to any sort of consistency, which is in trading, that's like the most important thing is consistency. So for me, what I would do now is kind of have an alert, wait for price to test a pre-identified level that I'm looking at ahead of time, not that I'm caught off guard by. And then once it hits that level, I would look at the 5-minute to confirm that it's not just kind of like melting through. And for sure, sometimes that will lead me to still buy at the exact worst time and get stopped out sometimes at the exact worst time. But it protects me from the times when it just melts right through my level. And when there's a big confluence of support at certain levels, like there is right now at 62 to 63,000, it's something that it's a critical crossroads because there's going to be a lot of liquidity there. There's going to be a ton of buyers lining up, a lot of people buying. And when price takes out that level, it usually does it in the blink of an eye, where all the buyers just get melted right through, just like that. Is generally what happens. Like if there's a big confluence of support, if it's going to get taken out, it usually does it very quickly and very sharply. And if you're waiting for some sort of confirmations from lower time frames, then that can, let's see here, if I can load a, oh, that's going to be ugly, but we'll check it out. So that's my chart that's got a bunch of levels that aren't going to make any sense. But let's go ahead and take a look at just some pure price action and basically what I would use to make decisions right now and what I'm going to be looking at very closely over the next few hours. So we have the buoy on the 1 hour MSR chart that is our pre-identified horizontal that would also be lining up with this level right here. So why this is kind of why I think this is going to hold. There's a couple of reasons. First of all, is because we took out these highs. If we were going, so that's bullish. That tells me that these lows should turn into support. When we're making lower highs and lower lows, something like, let's see, can't really find a great example. The market's been so bullish, but yeah, like right here. So notice how we came down and then this bounce acted as resistance on the next bounce. And then we kept going lower. And then this acted as resistance here. And then we kept going lower. So if this high here held as resistance, I was going to be much more thinking that the market is ready to move down if we resisted like right under here. But since we took it out the highs, that is my first like real big signal of strength. Kind of think of it as like a inverted head and shoulders, where here's our shoulder here, head, and now I'm looking for another shoulder to form off of this low here, which is right in line with the 1 hour marker on the buoy. So I go ahead and zoom into the 5-minute, and now I'd really wait to see some more, like I have a very specific price model that I would look at to trigger, but that's, yeah, basically what I would do. And just a little 5-minute bounce like this right here is nothing. I would, again, look for something like, is this going to hold as resistance for lower lows? Are we able to consolidate on top of this for an extended period of time opposed to below it is absolutely critical. So I don't think that we'll know we could know a lot in the next 5 minutes if it just melts right through all that liquidity. But as long as it's kind of able to hold above here and kind of chop above or kind of reclaim up in here, now that would be kind of final confirmation of a level holding for me. So yeah, that wasn't really expecting to dive into the 5 minute, but we got some nice volatility
Fantastic.
right as we started recording.
Fantastic.
So I figured we could go ahead and look at all the time frames. Why not?
Mate, I thought that was brilliant. That was spectacular. And where that buoy lines up with the inverse head and shoulders there, the first shoulder is spectacular. That brilliant, 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 brilliant. See, for my money, that buoy would be. I'd catch the knife there if I was trading this using your system. I'd just go long there and have a stop loss in at the lower low, and that would just I'd take that risk on that trade for sure.
That's a great option. Everybody, what I love about MSR so much is everybody trades it differently. And that's how trading really is. Nobody really trades any two systems the same. And yeah, this is. I would think that I wouldn't say there's any problem with that at all, especially because this is something that's going to focus more on position trading and holding for months on end. So I do myself feel comfortable with that risk when we're instead of like just looking to take a scalp, we're actually looking for much like really big risk reward. Yeah, I think that that's very, very reasonable and something that as my trading evolves, something that I'm not necessarily doing anymore, and I'm happy about it. But I couldn't fault anybody for coming up with some objective rules, and as long as that risk is managed and you're kind of looking ahead of time, the catching knives can be tough business, but some people are really, really good at it.
Yeah, no, I agree. And just to touch back on what you were saying before about having a plan and trying to alleviate your stress at those horrible moments. I mean, that's why I built the bot. Do you know what I mean? Like we pulled 2.3% out today, entered, exited the whole thing hands free, and the market dropped another few $1,000 or whatever. Like it would be very hard to manually have done that, I think, because the market looks so good, and then in a matter of an hour looked so bad, and now it's bouncing again up, and it's very hard to do that. With our bot trade, we got in, didn't get much out, but we got out in profit. The market dropped. We're eligible to go get long again. All hands free. Links in the description below. I can't. I just every other day we're in trades, win, lose or draw. There's a maximum drawdown you can have. There's no limit to the upside. It just trails the price. It's just a grinder, and I really recommend jumping on like the 170 other people that use it as it stands. All right, mate, we might wind this show up. What do you reckon?
Awesome. Well, yeah, thank you for having me. Certainly, it's been a while since I've been doing any streaming, so it's giving me giving me the nerves and everything, and it's a lot of fun to be back sharing some charts, not just be an article, but on a stream, and yeah, maybe shooting for starting it a couple times a month, I think would be like for me. The way I do things is generally like it's only going to be an important time price for me, maybe a couple times a month. The rest is kind of just rehashing like what I said already, unless the market really starts moving. So yeah, I think that would be a good. I always have some good charts to share, and I think that's something I could loosely commit to moving forward for sure.
Mate, it's an absolute privilege to have you, and everyone knows how much I value your work and the inspiration you were to me. So I'll if you want to do a show once a week, once a month, once a year, I'll stand behind you, mate. I'd really love to have you here.
Well, I sure appreciate it, and yeah, you're the one that got me back onto social media. Really means a lot hearing from some people who have uh, found value in the work that I did, and that really inspired me to roll my sleeves up and get back in the trenches. So that's credit to you, and I really do appreciate that.
Good on you, mate. All right, that's enough of the soft stuff. Thank you, everybody. Please like and subscribe. Please share it with your friends. Please leave a message for Sock in the text section below. He really appreciates all your support. Thank you, guys. I'm sorry we couldn't go live. I'm going to post this right now. Thanks again. See you, mate.
Cheers.